What's up guys? So, I know I'm a tiny bit late on making a video on this subject, but Sony has recently shifted their focus onto making blockbuster games that are quote-unquote too big to fail. And assuming this is true, the upper management for Sony is completely losing the point of what made PlayStation such a staple of gaming history. Because taking risks is exactly what got Sony and the PlayStation where it is in the terms of success, and being such a huge rival to Microsoft and Xbox. Sony has now turned their back on that philosophy and now is going to be giving the go-ahead to safer games, which I don't know about you, but that sounds a lot like some other companies, but more on that later. The first casualty of Sony's new ideology is the would-be sequel of Days Gone, and though the game wasn't received all that well, it did at least end up making a profit. And the reason I bring this up is because some of PlayStation's most well-regarded games were also in a similar position at one point in time. For example, Shadow of the Colossus, Demon's Souls, and God of War. God of War wasn't that big until its fourth installment, so a majority of PlayStation's biggest titles wouldn't have existed if it wasn't for taking big risks. And even Uncharted, to my knowledge, wasn't really that big until Uncharted 2. Given that taking risks is what made PlayStation so different from Xbox, it's absolutely insane to me that they are willing to focus on just spin-offs to Uncharted, sequels to their biggest games, and even a remake of The Last of Us. Which, given that The Last of Us came out less than a decade ago and is on the PlayStation 4, which a majority of people still have, mostly thanks to PlayStation 5 shortages still going on, a remake to it makes absolutely zero sense, especially with Last of Us 2 being released not even a year ago as of me posting this video. Continuing to make spin-offs and sequels of their biggest games is what leads to uninspired games that remind me specifically of games like Battlefield and the Assassin's Creed series. And I genuinely don't want to see Sony follow down the same road as Activision, EA, and Ubisoft and end up regretting it just as much as them. A majority of Ubisoft's latest games have been sequels to Far Cry, Ghost Recon, and Assassin's Creed. Far Cry's sales have been going down since the third one, and Assassin's Creed was dying before they revamped the franchise with the release of Origins. And EA's Battlefield games have had a similar experience, with 5 being a complete failure and the franchise losing traction after Battlefield 3. I just honestly don't think that Sony is making a wise decision whatsoever, since they are going down a road which leads to semi-decent games at best. I mean, sure, all of the first-party releases for the PlayStation since The Last of Us have been smash hits, and you could debate about Last of Us 2, it's still sold unbelievably well. And sure, anyone can argue that Naughty Dog will always be making amazing games, but developers need experience that Sony is no longer willing to give to get to that point that Naughty Dog and some of their other biggest developers are at. And if you want my honest opinion, if any of these games end up stopping the win streak that Sony has been on, I genuinely do fear for what could happen hypothetically to whatever development team is at the head of that project, since Sony is not willing to take risks any longer. And if they continue to push through after a game flops, then we could see Sony ending up exactly like Activision, EA, and Ubisoft, which genuinely concerns me because I don't want to see Sony's legacy fall down by the wayside. Every time that Sony announces a new game, I look forward to seeing what it ends up becoming, and I don't want Sony to become another company that contributes to the lack of new and exciting games that have been plaguing the gaming industry for the last few years. But with all that being said, let me know what you think down in the comments below, and as always, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video.